some people in the world like to create complexity. Some people in the world thrive under complexity, like lawyers, right? Lawyers want the world to be more complex because you need more lawyers, you need more legal hours, right? I think that's another. If there's two great evils in the world, it's centralization and complexity.
Yeah, and the one of the sort of hidden side effects of software engineering is like finding pleasure in complexity. I mean, I don't remember just taking all the software engineering courses and just doing programming and just coming up in this object-oriented programming kind of idea. You don't like. Not often do people tell you like do the simplest possible thing. Like a professor, a teacher is not going to get in front like this is the simplest way to do it. They'll say like this is there's the right way, and the right way, at least for a long time, you know, especially I came up with like Java, right? Like is so much boilerplate, so much like so many classes, so many like designs and architectures and so on, like planning for features far into the future and planning poorly and all this kind of stuff. And then there's this like code base that follows you along and puts pressure on you, and nobody knows what like different parts do, which slows everything down. There's a kind of bureaucracy that's instilled in the code as a result of that. But then you feel like, oh, well, I follow good software engineering practices. It's an interesting trade-off, because then you look at like the ghetto-ness of like Perl and the old, like how quickly you could just write a couple lines and just get stuff done. That trade-off is interesting, or Bash or whatever, these kind of ghetto things you can do in Linux.
One of my favorite things to look at today is how much do you trust your tests? Right? We've put a ton of effort in Comma, and I've put a ton of effort in TinyGrad into making sure if you change the code and the tests pass, that you didn't break the code.
Yeah.
Now, this obviously is not always true, but the closer that is to true, the more you trust your tests, the more you're like, oh, I got a pull request and the tests pass, I feel okay to merge that, the faster you can make progress.
So you're always programming with tests in mind, developing tests with that in mind, that if it passes, it should be good.
And Twitter had
not that. So
it was impossible to make progress in the code base.